There it is. Oh, okay. We got some. Try to get some proper shading in here. Proper shading. All right, so we'll move over this way. Maybe that'll be better. Get that out. All right. So, Alito, great grand rising, everyone. Great grand rising. Still away from my main home here as I'm traveling on the road. Um, Giving a response today again to some of the comments that I got from that show that I did, ADOS, all reparations to go to the country of Africa. And it is, as you read down in the comments, quite disturbing of a lot of things a lot of people have said. There's a lot of great comments that were made. And I just need to really, one last time, respond to some of the things that are going on there. Now, I don't know if these are trolls or if these are people trying to cause dissension or if they really, I don't know, they just really haven't listened to any of the research that we have been putting out there. But it's important for us to understand that, we have to be extremely cautious of the mental slavery that we're in and the way that we look at things, right? So, and again, the way that we're interpreting and understanding the things that people are putting out there. And everything that I put out there is extremely, extremely real. And the purpose of the show is to get into people's faces so that they will be able to take action, real action, that is going to actually be meaningful and constructive in the way that we live our lives moving forward so that we can be able to build and rebuild ourselves as beings of people, knowing exactly who and what we are. So this video is not going to be too long. So I wanted to really, there's a guy named Pierre Smith. Pierre Smith, to you, commented, this guy said slavery wasn't that bad. You sick-minded individual. I hope you suffer slowly. Now, I mean, those kind of comments, if I don't even know what to say about that, really, but I wanted to really deal with this one concretely, all right? If you had listened to any of the shows that I put out there, the majority of them deal exactly the brutality of slavery. I want you to go listen to a show that they killed so many slaves, they killed so many indigenous people that they actually changed the environment of the earth. The temperature of the earth lowered, right? Go take a look at that one. And then you can see exactly where I'm coming from. In the video itself, as I was talking about how they gave out reparations to Jews, reparations to the Japanese, how they were paying off a whole bunch of these other countries through a lot of the financial aid that they're giving them, billions and billions and billions of dollars. And when it comes to us, yeah, they I was taught in school that slavery wasn't that bad. And that's exactly what I was saying. I was taught in school. One of the reasons why they had the manifest destiny and all this other type of stuff is because slavery was part of it. They educated us, gave us food, gave us a place to live, and they took us out of being savagery. Right? So when I said they think, slavery wasn't that bad, I wasn't saying that slavery wasn't that bad. If you listen to any of my commentation, and studies and shows and documentaries, you know exactly how slavery is bad. All right. When I go around and when I'm teaching people that they killed 240,000 people a day, at least over a 200-year period, right? Killing over 100 million people. We were at war. And they put us in concentration camps. They put us in slave labor camps. They put us in prisoner of war camps. And they brutally murdered us desperately to eradicate us off the face of this earth. Yes, slavery was worse than that bad, right? Just to answer that comment. And I hope you suffer slowly. We have to really have an understanding of what we're saying. So Pierre Smith, in that comment, I hope you understand exactly a little bit better and, hope life is treating you well, but life really didn't treat the people who were caught in this prisoner of war system that many call slavery, did not fare well. In fact, on the very ground that you're walking around every single day, there's probably thousands of dead bodies and bones that you're walking on top of. You're walking on sacred ground, very sacred ground, right? Another person said, you're asking a whole lot of stupid questions. So the stupid question is what? Where's the country of Africa? right? We call ourselves African Americans, and if we're African Americans, we must be from a country called Africa. So if I'm asking a super question, I need you, and who is that person? Captain Caveman. I need you to answer that question for me. Tell me where the country of Africa is. Right? If all slave reparations should go to the country of Africa, which was one of the questions, and there is no country of Africa, but if there is one, and it's a stupid question, I'm asking, where is the country of Africa? Please tell me where the country of Africa is. The answer to that question, there is none. And no, the reparations need to be able to go to the people that it actually affected, right? Actually affected, right? And then there's a 4-step process that we need to be able to understand about that, right? We need to create a fishbone network around our country in order for us to be able to represent ourselves to the world under many flags, on many jurisdictions, many nations under one flag, us coming together in a major either Congress or what you call a Grand Council. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we need to deal with the doctrine of discovery. The doctrine of discovery has to end the war. The PayPal and the Pope, and I'm submitting it to you right now that the Pope right now not only denounce the doctrine of discovery, right, but put an end to doctrine of discovery all across the earth, all across the world. If the doctrine of discovery is never not only renounced but ended and taken out of international law, where even up to 2005, the Supreme Court of the United States is using that to justify the sale and all other kinds of things of what we call indigenous lands. If the doctrine of discovery is not taken care of, then all else will fall flat on its face, because the doctrine of discovery is what started a lot of this colonization stuff, started a lot of the wars that were going on. And I'm going to have a show. The second show I'm going to have is breaking down the 10 key steps of doctrine of discovery and why we're still in the situation we're in today. Right? So if I'm asking a lot of stupid questions or anything else like that, that's part of it, right? Part of it's that 4-step thing, the doctrine of discovery, right? Fishbone network around the country so it can represent us. 2, we have to end the doctrine of discovery. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the doctrine of discovery. I am talking about the doctrine of discovery. It's not a stupid question. It's not an idiotic question. And I shouldn't be suffering slowly because of that. Because I care for my people. Another stupid question is that there has never been ever a single program that actually addressed specifically the concerns of what you call African American, Black people, copper-colored people of this country in itself. Never. It's always been integrated in with quote-unquote minorities, with this anybody else around this world, and then they get more benefits from this from all of these programs than we ever get. All right. So when it comes down to that, the third step of dealing with getting out of all these things, right, is now then once you have the fishbone network and you got some representation, and we're able to choose our own way of going instead of the outside world choosing our leadership all the time and putting it in front of everybody, we have now our own way of dealing with things. The second one, dealing with the doctrine of discovery, ending the war, repatriating the people back to their lands, and that's all over the world. So to answer that other question, am I only concerned about people here? I'm concerned about all people of carbon-based beings, all people who we call melanated beings, all people around the world that have been destroyed, slaughtered, and killed, from Australia to the Pacific Islanders, through the United States, through all of the Americas, all of Africa, and even the people in what they call the second Ethiopia, which is the Indian continents over there, including China and Japan, as they had all kinds, and Koreas, right? All of these people were slaughtered and wiped out. They were slaughtered and wiped out in China, slaughtered and wiped out in Korea, slaughtered and wiped out in Japan. They were slaughtered and wiped out. And I'm talking about all of these people. Right? Talking about all of us. So when somebody says that I should suffer slowly for the concepts that I'm saying, the things that I'm putting out, we need to really think about who are making statements. People are saying that I'm asking stupid questions. We need to really think about who are making these statements. right? The third thing is now we can, once we get through those two things, we can then talk about decolonization. And decolonization is the fact that, one, the people who are now back in control of the land can now begin to start telling the people who are coming in there and had war to get off of their land. Right? And they were supposed to do that back in the 1960s. Instead, what they gave you is civil rights. And then after they gave you civil rights, they turned you into black African Americans and anything else to make sure that you never took hold of your original being. Then once you deal with those three aspects of things, then we have enough information to say, okay, we need a recompense. Are we restoring? Are we bringing back? Are we paying? Of the things that you've done for those people who are caught up in this war, and also reparations for those people who came from Africa and other places and caught up in the system of penitentiary slavery, prison of war slavery. 3 different things: repatriation, reparations, and recompense. Can't happen until we have a system in place, a skeleton system, which we're going around now, redeveloping communities, and making sure that these communities are able to represent themselves in a way that we were supposed to represent ourselves, coming into the age of decolonization, not the age of civil rights, not even the age of human rights, the age of decolonization. Nothing else matters until we're able to stop the doctrine of discovery. Then we can get to decolonization, throwing people off the land that don't belong there, or including them. One, whatever the situation, the main people want to be able to deal with it. Third, then, and only then, can you talk about a recompense and decolonization. Possession is 9/10 of the law. That is correct. Possession is 9/10 of the law. And this is the reason why we live in a constitutional democracy, a constitutional republic, right? And what we came out of was similarly the same type of thing. And even though possession is 9/10 of the law, they have possession, but it's our land. And that's why we have laws in order for us to be able to make things right, because we are able to use a system to go through to get what belongs to you back. So even though somebody stole something from you, they have it 9/10. The possession is 9/10 of the law. Even though they have it, if you go to court, that court system has to begin to start understanding where we're coming from, right? Understanding where we're coming from, understanding that this property actually belongs to you, and they came and took it without your permission. They came and took it and did a whole bunch of other wrong things when they took it as well. They came in, broke some windows, this, that, and the other thing, and they have to pay for all those things. And this is when not even at that point where we can ask for anything. Why? Because we don't have any representation. We don't have any representation in the world. None. And as individual groups and people and persons, that's that representation. They want you to think you as an individual. And that's why developing this fishbone process all across this country is so extremely important, in order for us to be able to retrain our people and begin to start understanding what it's like to be able to represent us in a real fashion, in a real pure way. Right? So, there was another one in here. Again, cause lots, it's not a lot. Cause a lot, it's not from, they are from, lots from not from Africa, they are from the United States. So I'm going to reword that. This is from D Money, right? So he was watching that video, and he got from the video that I'm saying that everybody's from Africa. You got to think, because the ADS, the ADOS, all reparations should go to Africa, was to point out that, one, there is no country of Africa. 2, you need to know what your origins are. 3, and I've said this again, and also said this in the video, if they listen to the whole thing, 95 to 98% of the people that are copper-colored beings right now in North America, especially in this United States, in North America, are from North America. And I'm giving you low estimates. Very high estimates on the other way, 3 to 5%. That's very high. came from Africa. And then if you know exactly how the slave trade actually transpired, you had a lot of people that were Hebrews that were carted out of Europe and took it into Africa. And you had a lot of Hebrews that actually came directly over to the United States. You also had a lot of American Indians, what they call American Indians, because they reframed all of us. And anybody calling themselves an Indian, anything else like that, really don't know what you're calling yourselves, because we don't have the exact names of what we called ourselves before they came here. We have to do a lot of studying for ourselves. All right? We have to do a lot of studying for ourselves. So those are for the scholarly people who are saying, I'm more Indian than you. We're using their terms, their words, their language, not our own. Right? As a being of people, one, we need to really know exactly who we are. But that's a story of another day. The first forms of slavery that came to the Americas was exported out by Columbus, taking more than 450 to 500 people back over to Europe and Spain to see Queen Isabella, and they presented them as their property. And that was from the doctrine of discovery. I'm going to impress every single one of you to listen to my series on the doctrine of discovery. There'll probably be about 3 or 4 different parts to it. Try to keep each part as short as possible. But listen to that, and then you understand why, no matter if you do colonize, you still don't own your land, your place, and you still don't have the right to occupy your land, because it belongs to all of the European nations. It belongs to the Vatican, belongs to the Roman Church. It belongs to the papal bull. Right. Yeah, well, yeah, right. We didn't say that. So, so we need to understand. We need to understand that when we are making comments and we're doing all kinds of stuff, we need to think. Take these chains off our brains, off of our minds, and don't just start making really quick assumptions. Everything that I say, study it, look at it, look it up, come to your own conclusions. That's what being a sovereign being is all about. But I'm here right now today to let you know that, I care deeply for our people. I care deeply for the people of the world. I can't save everybody in the world. I can only try to do what I can do for the little bit of people that I can do that for, and support the people that are trying to support that type of program and moving forward. Here we talk about politics. We talk about history. We talk about the deepness and the trueness of what actually happened to copper-colored people in North America. Right? I care about the people on the islands. That's why I went over there and visited, talked to them. I understand where they're from exactly as well, because most of the slave trade that happened in North America was included in the islands as well. A lot of them are related to the Awak Indians that are based out of Florida and part of that whole entire empire of the North America, which had about 3-4 different separate empires. Civilization type people. We just need to know who we are and stop saying, people need to suffer when they misconstrue and put things out there. And again, a lot of these people could be trolls. I don't know. But that's why I'm putting this out here. This video is going 8 minutes over, so I'm gonna end this one now. But get out there, reorganize your communities, bring us in, let us speak to you, let us help you train. There's a lot of people out there that are on the right direction, doing a lot of right things. Right? We need to really know how we're going to survive in the next 50 years in order for us to be able to survive as beings of people. Because our economy, our medium economy, is scheduled to be zero within the next 30 years, which means that we have about maybe 5 years left to be able to put something in place, less than that, put something in place in order for us to be able to have a leg to stand on. This is what it's all about. We need to perfect our interest in our land. That's right. The doctrine of discovery was a commercial doctrine that implemented factional subjects and matters. That's right. Because one of the things about that doctrine of discovery, which I need people to start talking about, is that the papal bull, what they did, and it all started with the Portuguese, because they split the world up. They split the world up, actually. And what they did, they said, as long as if any European country governed by a monarch of the church that is Christian can go out and stick a flag, two flag, a PayPal flag and their flag on the ground. As soon as that's why a lot of the pictures you see them sticking the flag on. That was a victory point. They just had to get to the shores and stick a flag on there. And once they stuck that flag on there, that country was now dedicated to the PayPal king of that country that they came from, ordained by the PayPal bull himself. Right? And there was 10 specific things that went along with that. One of them was that they can subjugate the people and do whatever they want to do to them, including genocide them off their own land. And I'm going to get into that. So thank you for that, nonetheless. Jaguar, I appreciate you. And all the other people that are here. Please share the video. Get it around. Sorry that it took 20 minutes. Love you guys. Love you all. But I just really needed to get that one out there. Let people understand what's going on. Right? We're at the end of it. This is our end game. This is our end game. It's no joke. It's the real truth. It's what it is. Right? We better pick our quote unquote leadership the way that we really need to pick it and stop running down these dead end lanes and making sure that we don't get anywhere. Constructive behavior is what we need. If it's not getting you anywhere, it's not constructive. We're not talking about how we need to be able to move forward in a real sense in your community. It's not constructive. If anything that you're doing in your community is not constructive, stop doing it and then think about what you can do constructive. And, I say, get me and our program out there. Let us start up an inner program in your area. Right. And you can call it whatever you want. We call it the Indigenous Nations of North America because it's exactly what we are. It's not just me or just, that name. It's everybody, what it is, because no matter what you put up, it's part of an indigenous nation that was originally here before they came. And that's what it's all about. Peace, guys. Have a great day. Love you. I'll talk to you guys very soon.